I want to do an experiment where I can see how many dates I can get with the 3 most popular apps, Bumble, Tinder, and Hinge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by downloading these apps and uploading a profile that's pretty generic, pretty bland, and then for 24 hours I'm going to try to get as many dates as I can. The next day I'm going to do 3 massive tweaks to my profile to see if I can get more dates than the day previous. So you're going to see how this is done, and you're going to learn exactly what you can do to get more dates, because I do predict in this experiment that the next day I'm going to get at least double the amount of dates that I did the first time. So let's get started. I'm going to download the apps right now and upload a profile. Come watch me. All right, so I just downloaded Hinge and Bumble and Tinder, and I just predict off the bat that Hinge is probably going to get me the most dates. Bumble I think is going to come in 2, and Tinder is going to be in 3rd. It was interesting scrolling through also and seeing all the different types of dating apps that are new that are out there that are supposedly good, but I've never heard of any of these. It seems like people are still using the top 3, Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder. So since this is an experiment, we need a control and we need a variable, right? So some things need to stay the same, control, and then we need to change something to actually perform the experiment. So what is the control? What I'm going to do is I'm going to message in the exact same way. I'm going to swipe in the exact same way. I'm going to be swiping on the same types of women that I'd be normally swiping on, whether it's today or tomorrow when I change my profile. So my actions and the way I'm using the apps is all going to be the exact same. The only thing that's going to change tomorrow is I'm going to switch out the prompts, bio, and profile. All of that is going to change. When I say profile, I mean pictures. So let me show you right now the different pictures that I'm using. And the way that I came up with this is I basically took the very cliche worst type of photos that I see a lot of guys do, especially in our coaching program when they show me their profile. This is the types of photos that they have, but also a lot of the complainy type of photos that a lot of girls complain about when they see. So I'm using these types of photos for this first round. So first there's going to be one with kind of a mean mug on my face and a hat, so you can't really see what I'm looking like. Another one is going to be me in sunglasses, where again it's kind of hard to see what I look like. But then there's going to be one where you can see at least sort of what I look like body type wise, but I'll be holding a fish, because that is also a common complaint that women have, is a lot of guys have that fish photo. I'm going to do a couple of group photos, which are normally not great photos to use, because what if there's someone in the photo that's more attractive? You just never know. But also it takes more time to figure out who the person is that you're trying to see and who the person is that's part of that profile. Then I'm going to do a picture of obviously me cropping out an X, which I know is a big no-no. So you do get to see at least my face a lot better, and you get to see who I am, but you're going to obviously see that this is a photo with an X, which is also a big no-no. So those are the 6 photos that I'm going to use. Now let's talk about the prompts. All of my prompts are going to be completely generic, bland, and non-specific. I'm going to use a lot of vague terminology. So for example, brunch and hanging with friends, that's very vague. A life goal of mine to continuously do better. And here's a terrible prompt, probably not that great. I'm convinced that I'm a great date. I'm gonna go pretty generic for my Tinder profile. It's just basically gonna say, love getting outside, being with friends, also enjoy eating out at tasty restaurants, looking for a really great woman. Which is funny, this doesn't make me stand out at all. It's pretty generic. Anyone could write something like this. For Bumble, same idea. I'm gonna use the very same exact type of bio. Some prompts are just going to be, my perfect first date is a great meal. I'm really proud of all the work I've accomplished. Swipe right if you want to have a great date. So yes, these are obviously very bad prompts, very bad photos, but this is what I see. This is what a lot of men do, and then they complain that they're not getting any dates. Also, what I'm going to be doing for all these profiles is I'm going to be showing as much as possible on the actual profile, because you can pick and choose what you show and what you don't show. So I'm going to be showing as much as I can. I'm going to be filling out as much as I can. I want it to be where I do the complete profile, barring a few things that might be a little bit too polarizing, like politics or religion. I want to give myself the chance to get as many dates and matches as possible. And I'm not going to change that when I swipe tomorrow. All of that stuff is going to be the exact same. The only thing that's going to change are my profile, photos, prompts, and bio. All right, I am ready, I am set, and I'm gonna go. Let's get swiping. All right, let's give you an update on what's going on here. So I've been at this for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I do want to mention here, a couple notes here, is that I am paying for all of these apps. So I'm paying for the top tier of whatever they have to offer inside of Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder. I'm using any sort of super like or super chat or whatever they give me. I'm using all of those. I'm not being too conservative with that. Whatever they give me, I'm using everything I can to my advantage that all these apps have. And I will continue to do that tomorrow when we change the profile up. So here's a quick update. On Hinge, I have only 3 matches. Again, this is after almost about 2 hours of swiping. 3 matches, and 1 did go to conversation. I'll actually read this conversation to you in just a bit, but one sec. Let's go to Tinder, where there's also 3 matches, but no one's even responded to me. On Hinge, they did respond a little bit. And on Bumble, there has only been 2 matches, and there's been no conversation whatsoever. Now, I'm also using a very easy line for them to answer. I'm asking them if they have any travel plans coming up. So that's why I'm starting the conversation, and I'm doing a 3-message sequence into the close. So first is any travel plans coming up. Second is asking them a this or that question. In this case, it's, do you like late night live music, or are you a sunrise and coffee kind of girl? And then the third one is just going for the close and saying, hey, we should get off the app, text me. So I have one person from Hinge who has texted me, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I think that this is a bot or someone who is just completely bored and catfishing. So it says, hey Trip, I'm Amy from Hinge. I said, hey Amy. And I asked for the date. I said, let's grab a drink, have some interesting conversation. And then she said, sorry, I'm not gonna date you because we're not friends or anything like that yet. Okay, that's strange. And then I said, what would you like to do next? Meaning, where are we going from here? Then she said, I work from home and cook dinner. I like good food. What do you usually do to pass the time? So she's trying to get to know me and chit chat. And so then I'm trying to move things forward, even though I know this is not going anywhere, but I'm just having fun with it. So are you just looking to text for a bit until you're comfortable? Anyways, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. I'm gonna go back to swiping. Okay, so we've been now swiping for about 3 to 4 hours. Of course, it's not full 3 to 4 hours. I do take little breaks here and there, but for about 3 to 4 hours, consistent swiping, we have not gotten any further, and it doesn't surprise me. Bumble, still the same, 2 matches. I've started to have a conversation with someone on Tinder. They seem to be someone who's either fake or a bot. We started actually texting. They texted me, and then they stopped responding and unmatched me. And then on Hinge, we also have not gotten any further. In fact, the one woman who I was talking to seemed to be some fake person or bot, who knows, and they unmatched me as well. So I'm actually even in a worse position than I was a couple hours ago, even though I've been swiping even more. I'm even at the point now where I've been a lot more loose with who I'm interested in. So I was being kind of normal of who I'd be interested in. Now I'm saying yes to a little bit more people just to see if I can get any matches with the current bio and profile that I have here and pictures and all that. So we'll see what happens, but I'm only gonna give this a couple more hours tonight and see what happens. Of course, I will wake up tomorrow from all the activity that I did today to see if I got any matches and then see if we can turn those into dates. All right, so it's the next morning. It's 8:40 in the morning. So we're maybe about 18 hours into this experiment, showing you just what it's like to use a very bad profile. Here are the updates so far. First, we have this woman named Amy. I doubt that's her or her real name, who is completely avoiding trying to do a date with me, even a FaceTime. She's arguing that she would rather text message than video chat and asking me why that's even something I'd want to do. Clearly, this is someone who is fake. I don't know this person's agenda, but it's not working out. She even said, I think it would be awkward for 2 people who don't know each other to blindly chat over a video call without knowing what to talk about. Of course, when we get to know each other better, we will have a lot of topics to talk about. I think video calls will be more casual in the future. Strange, red flag, or fake. My guess, a catfish. Let's move over to Hinge, where we do have at least 1 more response from someone, and then we have a new match, which this is pretty low. We have a few new likes from a few different women, so maybe this will go somewhere, maybe it won't. Maybe we'll find by the end of this experiment. I might end up extending it to 36 hours just to see where this goes, because that's still gonna be more time before we redo the profile. Over on Bumble, we have a couple more chats going, but really nothing much, and then a few more people who liked. Again, this is more about seeing if we can move any of these to dates, which, by the way, we finally have one. This woman quickly agreed to a drink, so I would say that this is a date. That's how I'm counting dates, by the the way, when they agree to going out and doing something on a specific day. I said, why hello there, been crazy busy. What's your schedule looking like for the rest of the week? Let's do a drink and some interesting conversation. And she says, well, I'm actually working Thursday and Friday a bit late of the night, but my Saturday afternoon until evening is open. What line of work is keeping you busy this week? Which I'm imagining that she's asking that question because she's like, what is a coach? It's very vague on the profile. I don't want to tell her that because I don't want to get into a long conversation. So I say, let's do Saturday evening. I can find a spot for us. Where are you based? And I can tell you about that when we meet. She goes ahead and says, I'm going to Madison Square for that concert so we can meet around Midtown West. If anything, do you live in the city? Then I said, yeah, that works. I'm in Manhattan. Do you like cocktails? Haha, funny question, but you never know these days. And she said, yeah, I like spirit forward kind of cocktail. So great. This is someone who is saying yes to a date. So far, we're at 1. Tinder has been an absolute mess. I have swiped on many, many women, at least over 200 at this point, and there's only one more new like, and then one person who's continuing conversation, but saying that they are looking for friendship to start, which I am not looking for in this experiment, and neither should you. One thing that you're gonna see when I'm going through and starting conversations with these women, especially on Hinge, is I'm not trying to get creative. I'm not trying to do long paragraphs. The whole goal of online dating is to move things faster because you wanna get a lot of volume because you don't know which women are gonna be responding, which ones are gonna text you, which ones are gonna end up on a date with. So I try to just use the same sentence so I don't need to use too much brain power and therefore move faster. So everything is going to be about just asking them, answering their questions that they have, but then moving to a sequence that I created that is basically starting with, do you have any travel plans coming up? Moving into the this or that kind of question, are you a late night live music kind of girl or coffee at sunrise? And then going for the close to get them to text me. So far, any women that, and it's not a lot so far, that I've actually sent that text message to, they have texted me to then, for me to then set up a date. All right, we are about 2 days in, almost 48 hours to see how many dates, how many matches I can get from these pictures and prompts and bio that I've used. And at this point, it's looking very slim. On Hinge, so far I have 11 matches. And from there, I had one person who was able to actually text me, but then she ghosted, so nothing happened from there. Then another one I did set up an official date with. I said, hey, it's Trip. What's your schedule looking like? Let's grab a drink and have some interesting conversation. She responded, hi, love your name. It's fun. I am jam-packed with a friend, dinner, concert tomorrow, and then work events Saturday, Sunday. Do we try next Tuesday? Now, I'm not big on trying. When you're going for a date, you want to make firm plans. So I said, instead of try, let's do smiley face to keep it light. Tuesday works great. I can pick a cocktail spot for us. Whereabouts? Where are you abouts? I guess I fumbled that. She said, sounds good. I live in Tribeca. Let me know when and where. Great. So I consider that a done deal. That's a date. Moving along to Tinder, which pretty much resulted in almost nothing. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches, and then a few others who liked me, but I didn't like them back. And even the ones that I did like back, I really wasn't too fond of, to be honest with you, and nothing here ended up leading to a date. Moving to Bumble, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches, and none of these led to anything. So with a grand total of 25 matches, 2 dates in 48 hours, not terrible, but really not too good. So I now have the match artist coming to meet me at my place, and I have hired them to take pictures of me because we are going to completely redo my profile. So you're going to join me on this journey of taking pictures and actually making a profile that looks good.
What's up,
hey,
man?
Trip. How's it going, man?
I'm good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Come on in.
Heard some good things about you.
Thanks, bro.
Usually, when I photograph people playing instruments, I usually like them to kind of just play and get lost in the music, and I find those to come out to be some of the best. Every once in a while, maybe like you look in this direction. Either it could be at me or it's just kind of like looking past me. Okay. I love this shot here. While Trip's playing, I'm saying, get into the music, right? Like, have a good time with the music. When I'm having someone playing on an instrument, I'm usually just telling them, get lost in it, forget that the camera's on you, and have a good time. And once in a while, I'll give a cue to say, like, hey, look out in my direction. Every once in a while, smile a bit like you're having fun, or you have an audience in the background here. So a lot of times people will ask about posing and how to pose. Well, beforehand, before they even do that, they'll, a lot of guys will they'll sit down. Let me get the stuff out of my pocket. I tell guys to get stuff out of their pockets all the time too. But some guys will sit down and they'll get like this, and it's it feels very closed, a bit more feminine. And I'll say, you know, open up a bit, right? Like lean back, open up, you know, and get into like a more masculine pose. Or sometimes some people look better if they're, you know, they're leaning forward, you know, looking off to the side. If you're leaning in this direction, generally looking off this way looks pretty good. You can bite down jawline, stuff like that. But I like to tell people that, you know, if you want to give off a masculine vibe, you should open up, right? So that's definitely one thing I think is really important is body positioning.
All right, we're headed out to take some photos. We got some indoor stuff, and now, unfortunately, we are in a bright and sunny day, which does not help photos. I just learned that the best time to take photos of yourself, especially if you're doing it for something like this, is going to be when it's full on overcast, fully cloudy. So note to you, when you're trying to get good photos, don't do it on a bright sunny day.
If you ever look in a professional photo studio, a lot of the soft boxes, umbrellas and stuff they tend to have a white diffuser over them, and that what happens with that is it softens the light. Like right now we're in the shade, so our skin should look pretty good. If we get into bright sunlight, you get these raccoon shadows under the eyes and stuff. But on an overcast day, the clouds actually act as nature's natural diffuser of the sun. So you'll get really even skin tones, and you can shoot in any location you want, and the light should be just about even everywhere you go.
All right, coming back from our shoot, how did we do?
Oh, it was awesome. We had a great time, and a much shorter shoot than I generally do with the clients that I work with.
So what I'm gonna do is tomorrow I'm gonna get all of the photos from Mike, and I'm going to start uploading them and seeing what happens. For now, I'm gonna pause all of the dating apps right now, so I'm not getting any new likes or any new people coming through. All right, it's now been a couple days since I have completely paused all the profiles. I got the pictures done, and now I'm going to see what kind of pictures I actually got from Mike, from the match artist. He did show me a couple of them when we were going out and doing photos, and they looked insane, but now he's picked the best ones. He's edited a few of them so I can see which ones that I can pick from the about 100 that I can use for the new profile. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check these out. You're gonna see them with me, and then I'm gonna upload them, and then we're gonna see what the results are from doing the same work, doing a lot of swiping and doing a lot of messaging. Real quick, before I show you the pictures I got, I have something for you. We are doing free calls right now to help people with their online dating profiles, to help them with approaching women, getting more dates. This free call is gonna evaluate your situation and diagnose and see exactly where you're at. TripAdviceCoaching.com, go there, book a free call today so we can see how we can help you. We're gonna tell you about all these different options that we have over here that are getting guys to completely crush it with online dating and meeting women in person. Go to TripAdviceCoaching.com, get your free call right now. All right, here we go. Logging in right now. And whoa, oh my God, holy cow. Holy cow, these are amazing. Okay, check these out. All right, after narrowing it down, I decided to go with these 5 plus another one that is not professional. That's a little bit more casual. So I went with this one. This is more of the standing pick, full body. Then I went with the passion pick, playing the piano. Went with this one, sitting down, smiling full. This more of a headshot, a little bit more serious, doing the squinch. Another passion shot, me looking at vinyl. And then this one, the more casual one, not one taken with the match artist that I wanted to throw in there just to balance it out a little bit. All right, so I got my new pictures. I'm going to re-upload them to Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder. And I'm also going to change the prompts and the bio. So remember, the whole experiment here is completely changing my profile from top to bottom to see if that's gonna make a difference in getting more matches and then those leading to more dates. Now I will say, before I started this, I opened up the apps to see if anyone came in and agreed to actually texting me, which one did, and then we did set up a date. So I am at 3 dates for the pre-profile change. But that's it. Since I paused all the apps, nothing else has come in. Okay, let's go ahead and change the photos on Hinge. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put in new prompts. So the key to prompts is, of course, being true to who you are, so don't copy these. But the way I'm doing this is being as specific as possible, okay? That's it. My whole filter here is specificity. So I'm gonna write here, I go crazy for a rare cut of sushi from Japan. Now I could have just said sushi, or I could have just said Japanese restaurants, but instead I said something a little bit more specific, right? Another prompt that I added in was, together we could travel somewhere exotic and shut off our phones. Again, more specific, you can kind of picture it a little bit. Exotic is a nice specific word. Shutting off our phones is a very specific action. So I'm really painting a picture here. The next prompt I changed on Hinge is I want someone who, and of course you can go really vague and broad. I want someone who's honest, who's caring, something like that. But I decided to create another picture. Can create dumb inside jokes with me and still laugh after the 50th time. All right, I went to Bumble, changed my profile there, and I went ahead and I created prompts and I did a bio. So here's the bio that I used where I tried to, again, be specific. Lover of rare sushi and passion for improv, jazz, piano, weakness for countryside France, saved a cat from a burning building. Obviously that's a joke, right? And then I say, in search of an independent and affectionate girl who appreciates the little things in life. P.S. camping or luxury hotel, which is a way to get them to say something back to me about that. Prompts I did here, similar to what I had for Hinge. My perfect first date is eating rare cuts of sushi with a glass of Sancerre. Sancerre is a specific type of white wine, by the way. What I'd really like to find is someone to travel to exotic places and shut off our phones. I should probably change that, edit the grammar there, but you get the idea. And then I'll know if we vibe on a date if, look how specific this is, we already have an inside joke within the first 17 minutes. And then I went to Tinder and I pretty much did the same thing. I just did a new bio there, same bio as Hinge, and didn't add any prompts because you really don't have to there. So that's all done. I'm gonna get swiping and let's see what happens. Okay, so we've already seen some really big changes. I've been doing this for on and off for about an hour and a half. I already have triple the amount of likes on Hinge and a date almost set up from Bumble. And this has only been an hour and a half of continuous swiping. Now, of course, this doesn't mean anything yet. It's still gonna take some time, but at this rate, I'm imagining even in less than 24 hours, I'm gonna have set up even more dates than the about 2 days that it took me with the bad profile. But let's see what happens. All right, now it's been a few hours later and we got some major updates. I now have two dates set up, and I've only been swiping for, I don't know, it's been like half the day. So we're only half the day in, we have another day and a half. I've already matched about the amount of dates that I got last time when I was doing it for about 3 full days. So just so you can see what's going on here, this first one says, hey Trip, it's Morgan, so you have my number. I said the same thing. By the way, as you know, I've been saying the same things over and over. I'm keeping it as close to a script as possible because as I'm seeing here, which I knew was the case, is you need a ton of volume. You need a ton of volume, and to sit there and come up with the most unique thing ever is just a total waste of time because you need to go through a lot of different women. So I said, hi there, what's your schedule looking like? Let's grab a drink and have some interesting conversation. She said, tell me about you first. And I'm not trying to have long conversations here. Like I just want to go for a date. So I said, wouldn't it be better in person? She said, I like to have an idea of what I'm getting myself into. I said, okay, also happy to do a FaceTime date if that makes it work better for you. And then this is probably a woman I would be a little bit reluctant to meet personally because she just seems kind of jaded. I even said that, like feeling jaded by the process. And then she said, no, not jaded, just don't want to waste my time, etc., etc. And then, boom, if I wanted to, I could set up a FaceTime date, which by the way is fantastic. That counts as a date. You should be doing FaceTime dates as well because you don't want to waste a lot of time going on too many dates if you don't have to go out and actually meet people. Doing a FaceTime date every once in a while is a great thing to do. Another one here, hey, it's Tia. I said, hey, thanks for texting. Then she said, no prob, easier than the app. I said, I agree. What's your schedule looking like? Let's grab a drink and have some interesting conversation. She said, okay, I'm around until Thursday evening. And I said, oh, Wednesday night works. And she said, sure, that would work. What part of the city do you live in? So 2 dates set up. And at this point on Hinge, I have too many likes to even count and a bunch of conversations that I've been having with women who will probably end up getting back to me, I'm sure, as the night or the next day goes on. And I've been putting in the work, but nothing different than I was doing when I was first signing up to the apps is putting in, a couple of hours of lots of swiping and getting things going. If we go to Bumble, we'll see that I'm also getting a lot more conversations. I'm getting a ton more likes, not necessarily from women I'm interested in, but I am getting some women who I'm interested in and going through and having some conversations there. So it is really bubbling up. I am sure within 24 hours from this moment, I will have a bunch more dates set up. Practically guarantee it at the rate that it's going now. And then Tinder, God, it is miserable. Like nothing's happening on this app. I'm swiping, nothing's happening. I'm not matching with anybody. No one's even liking. I feel like no one's seeing my profile, which I am a little bit concerned about even on Hinge and Bumble. I wonder if the algorithm kind of pushed me back because I was doing so poorly. So if I'm not getting enough, I am considering doing a boost where I know that kind of is funny to do that with this experiment because you'd think, oh, a boost is clearly gonna get you more opportunities than if you weren't doing a boost before. But I will say that a boost here in this process is, I believe, pushing me at least out of whatever the algorithm had me in before. That's just a theory. I'm not gonna do it yet. Let's just see how things go without even doing a boost. And maybe just for fun, we'll do it at the end. We'll see. Okay, we're now 24 hours into using the new pictures. Results have been incredible. I have set up 7 dates in the past 24 hours with women from the new pictures, a bunch from Hinge, a few from Bumble, and then so far I think 0 from Tinder, although Tinder has started to pick up. So what I did is I actually did do a boost yesterday for Tinder because Tinder was just actually getting no results at all. So Tinder gave a boost, got some conversations going, but that's pretty much it there. Again, I'm using the same exact scripts for everything I'm doing. I'm barely going off script. I'm using the same stuff to set up the dates, and I'm using the same things to actually get these women on dates. Oh look, we even just got a text message right now from a new prospect. So actually, let's show you right now how it's done. So it says, hey Trip, it's Anya. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, copy and paste. Why hello there, been crazy busy. What's your schedule looking like? Let's grab a drink and have some interesting conversation. And I am considering a date if they just say yes, they pick a time, a date, anything like that. So for example here, this one said, been crazy busy. She said, well, I'm off. Tomorrow I'm off, so I can be up today longer than usual. Usually I'm at 10 in bed already, haha, also Friday and Saturday. Another one, I said the same thing, been crazy busy, etc. Morning, yes, would love that. I have a few things up in the air for this week and preparing for my trip to Croatia. Can I get back to you with a few days? So I'll respond yes, and then I'm sure she'll get back to me. Of course, obviously there is a flake rate. I know that if I was actually going on dates with some of these women, there's gonna be a few who wouldn't show up, but still, what we're trying to do here is just count up how many dates can actually happen, how many women can agree to a date from this experiment. Again, we had about 2 or 3 from the old pictures, and now in 24 hours, 7. Now there are a lot of women on Hinge that I'm waiting on a response for. So you can see here, there is just a ton that are waiting, which of course it's the work day, so I'm sure by tonight there's gonna be more. I predict I can set up at least a dozen dates by tomorrow morning. Here's another one. Hey, it's Gab from Bumble. I said the same thing. She said would love to, maybe Thursday. Let's go into Bumble. We got a chat here. So I said, any travel plans coming up? She said just work for the moment. I said maybe Bali soon for me, incredible sunsets. Curious, are you a coffee at sunrise or late night live music kind of girl? She said I was going to Bali next month, but my friends ditched me. I can definitely be both. So I'll go ahead and I'll respond to that, and I'll send her the copy and paste that just sets up for her to text me. Okay, we are about, I'd say 1 hour left into the experiment. So that means I will have done 48 hours on the new profile, which I believe is gonna be a little bit less than I did with the first profile. So I'm giving myself 1 more hour, and I'm gonna very soon here tally up all the dates I've gotten. Let's just say I've completely blown away the amount of dates and of course matches that I had when I was doing the first profile. So let's see what happens very soon. Also, remember, I've completely deleted Tinder because it is the absolute worst. I was getting pretty much no traction on that app. I've also really stopped swiping on Bumble. I've swiped a little bit on Hinge, but really not much, only because there's just no point. I'm waiting for all these other women to respond. Now, one thing that I've done, and I'm not saying that you should do this, but this is an option for you, is there's a lot of women on there that get a lot of messages. So even though they match with you or you said something, you're in a conversation, they might have forgotten about you, maybe they're busy, whatever it is. So you can text them on the app and say bump, smiley face, as if you're bumping yourself up to the queue of all the people that they're talking to. I know that sounds kind of needy, kind of lame, but otherwise, if they're not talking to you and it's been a couple of days, it's probably dead. So you can do that, and it does work. There are a few that are going to be like, oh, I'm so glad that you bumped me up, thanks for doing that, or they don't even respond to the thing that you said bump, they just respond to the question that you had there. I've even had some people text me after I've given my number, after I've said bump, because it's just reminding them to continue the conversation with you. All right, literally as we are chatting, the last date is just coming through. So we are now going to tally up everything and give the full totals of how it went down with the new profile. So again, we did 48 hours with this new profile. So I'm going to start counting it up. Now, there are a few on the actual app that didn't give me their number, but we set up either a FaceTime or a date on the app. So there are 1, 2 on the app, then 3 on WhatsApp, then through text message, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 dates dates from the new profile pictures. Basically 6x the amount of dates in less time. That is how powerful these pictures and these prompts can really be. And I'm almost positive here, as I see, because it takes a while for some women to get back to you, that I'd safely add about 5 to 10 more dates on top of this if I were to keep going and let the few days roll by, because we have people who are responding later on. It's during the weekday, so they're responding later. They have a lot of people who are messaging them and so forth. I want to give you one that actually stood out. And this is a good lesson in frame, holding the frame and doing what works best for you. Now, I did set up a few FaceTime dates. I'd say maybe out of the 18, like 3 to 4 of them. And there was this one I just wanted to test out and see. So she said, "Hey Trip, this is Morgan. You have my number." I said, "Hey, let's grab a drink." She said, "Tell me about yourself first." I said, "Wouldn't it be better in person? Because I'm trying to teach you so you understand," and this was something I'd want to do also, is not waste time texting all day back and forth. Then she said, "I'd like to have an idea of what I'm getting myself into." Then I said, "Okay, right away. Also happy to do a FaceTime date if that's better for you." And then she said, "Yeah, I think that's best. I've been trapped on dates too many times." By the way, don't like this attitude already. I said, "Hi, I get it, feeling jaded by the process." She said, "Not jaded, etc., etc." I said, "Got it, let me get back to you at the time." So of course, this is me counting this as a date. I wasn't planning on getting back to her. And then she ended up messaging me, so basically double texting the next day saying, "Trip, you were so chatty. FaceTime me?" And so I just wanted to test this out because nothing to lose, and you should be thinking this as well. I said, "Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just realizing I'd rather meet in person, but if you don't, I totally understand and wish you the best." And then she said, "Okay, we can meet in person too. That's fine." So as you see, you can hold the frame, you can do what's best for you, and if the woman is really interested, then she's going to follow you. She's going to follow your frame. I want to really just show you here that yeah, there's all these matches I got, but at the end of the day, do you really want to waste your time messaging back and forth, having lots of conversations, or would you rather just get them going, get them on a date, and then you filter for the women that have the highest interest in you? That is going to be the best, as to have the best types of dates, because again, they're super interested in you, and on top of that, you are setting up dates faster and maximizing your time putting into this. Don't forget, if you need help, we have a coaching program here. Book a free call, tripadvicecoaching.com. Leave a comment down below. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you thought about this process. Let me know if you're going to implement some of the things that you learned here today. Take care.